Alright, in this video I'm going to demonstrate the creation of an elastic MapReduce cluster. So whenever you log into the AWS console, you will see down here under Analytics, EMR. We're going to be using EMR, so go ahead and click in on it. You should see a screen like this one because you probably do not have any existing clusters. So we're going to go ahead and create a cluster. You can name it whatever you want. In this case, I'm going to name it OU class. I'm going to turn off logging. This is not essential, but if you don't uncheck this, it'll create a new S3 bucket and it will output system logs to it. The logging will be minimal, but for us it's unnecessary because I really don't care. I'm going to leave these defaults the same. You could change your Hadoop distribution, customize what's on here. This is all fine for us. I'm also, in this case, going to leave the number of instances the same. For this cluster size, we'll be spending about 40 cents an hour to run it, all in, and so it's pretty affordable. If you want it to go faster, you can increase the number of instances. I wouldn't recommend doing any lower. And then here we don't have any EC2 key pairs, which isn't a big deal. We don't have to create any. So I'm going to go ahead and leave all that the same and create a cluster. Usually cluster creation takes anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. Depending on how many resources are free in AWS. So I'm going to wait here for just a minute, allow this to begin creation. All right, so you should see this screen right here where it'll say starting. It'll take a few minutes and then we'll have our cluster. Right now that my cluster is created, you see that it is waiting. And I have my master, which is running, and my core, these are the workers, which are also running. So the first thing I'm going to do is I actually want to connect in through the web interface. So I'm going to go here to the security groups for masters and click on this SG-A3469 link down here. And that opens a new window, which takes me to the security groups that were created for this cluster. And so I want to click on this one here that says Elastic MapReduce Master. So I'm going to click this box over here. I'm just going to drag up to give me a little more space. And what I want to do is modify these inbound rules. And so you'll see there are a number of pre-existing rules here. I'm going to edit them, and I get a new pop-up box, which I'll scroll to the bottom of. Once you scroll to the bottom, you'll see this Add Rule button. I'm going to click that and add a rule, and it automatically adds one here to the bottom. What I'm going to do is leave this custom TCP all the same. And in this box, I'm going to type 8888, and I'm going to click this My IP dropdown. So what this does is it opens port 8888 from my current IP address, and I'm going to click Save. Now, if I do some work and then I go home and I want to log into this cluster again, I'm actually going to have to come in here and modify that rule and set it to my new IP address. And the reason for that is because it only works from my current computer, because I don't want everybody to be able to access my cluster. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my EMR cluster, and I'm going to copy this master public DNS right here. I'm going to copy this whole long address right here. There we go. I'm going to open a new tab. I'm going to paste it in and leave it the same, but add at the end a colon 8234, 48s. And that'll bring up a new window where it asks me to log into Q. And I get to set a username and a password. It can be whatever you want, but you have to remember it for later. So I'm going to set it to my name and just a password I use regularly. It will create my account. And now I can log in. I don't need to worry about any of this. And I get the Hive interface where I can write my own queries here. So you can write all your queries, do all your work in this interface, and then whenever you're done, you'll come back here to this EMR screen. So assuming you've navigated off of it, you can find all your running clusters from the AWS portal by clicking on the EMR. And you'll see here I have a running cluster that's waiting. It'll say waiting even if you're running queries on it. Whenever you're done with your cluster, you finished all your work, you saved your results, done what you need to do, you can check this box next to it and click terminate. And so From the time that you turn a cluster on until the time you terminate it, you'll be paying. And it's only about 40 cents a minute or an hour. If you, it's about 40 cents an hour if you're using it with 3 nodes. But obviously that adds up over time. So I'm going to click, I'm going to terminate it. It asks, are you sure you want to terminate it? I say yes, and you'll see here it says terminating user request. And so after 3 or 4 minutes, that cluster will be cleaned up, it'll be terminated, and it'll be shown in my list as terminated. And so I can come in here and check it later if I want. All right, that's it.